I bought a couple of these vintage Stanley spokeshaves from Facebook Marketplace. A guy named John as well was very kind to send these to me in the mail and made it really easy for me to get my hands on these for an awesome price. And what you can see here is we have a Stanley number 51 flat bottom spokeshave, and I also have a Stanley number 63 round bottom spokeshave here. These aren't the first spokeshaves I've owned. I decided to splurge when I was getting into this tool on a very nice Veritas flat bottom spokeshave, which is roughly based off of the old Stanley design, except for the adjuster knobs here. This is a incredibly easy to tune tool with a very nice thick blade here and a super tight mouth when you're taking a fine shaving with this tool. I thought it would be fun today to take a look at these two tools here, do a little bit of tuning on them, get the blade sharpened, and then we'll use them in conjunction with this one here and see how they perform. Because I'm teaching some of my friends some classes on making simple picture frames, and I thought these would be really nice to have a couple extra lying around when I have 2 or 3 people in the shop instead of just me. The person who sold me these was only asking 30 Canadian dollars for both of them, and the shipping from the island was about another 20 bucks, so that seemed like a bit of a no-brainer for me. For anyone who's not familiar what this tool is, it's effectively just a blade, this part here, held at an angle, and in this case it's at 45 degrees to this flat section on the bottom side here. And the blade here actually projects out of this gap in the bottom, which lets you, put the spokeshave up against the work surface, and you'll see some tiny little curls coming off of the corner of the board there. And that lets you take a very controlled amount of wood off at one time. Despite the fact that this one here and this one here are both flat bottom spokeshaves, the thing that I find this tool the most useful for is actually for shaping curved surfaces, like you see here on the end of this cherry. And I'll take you over to the vise and show you what that looks like. Just like with any plane, we want to work as if we're planing with the wood grain in a favorable direction. And in the case of using a spokeshave like this, typically what I recommend people do is they want to go so that they're working up to the top of the dome here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the front side here, skew the spokeshave a little bit, and start working my way across the surface. And at first it's going to be a little rough as the high points from the bandsaw get taken down. But you'll see that slowly a very nice surface underneath gets revealed. And you really can come at it from kind of any angle as long as you're moving in this direction. And now I'm going to sort of slow down and be a little more thoughtful here. Skewing the spokeshave really does make a lot of difference, but I'm just going to work my way across the surface here. And you'll see there's a little curl coming up from one section of the blade there. And I'm getting some chatter on the other side here because this side really wants to be gone that way. But as you can see, with just, a little bit of attentiveness and a steady hand and some technique where you keep good pressure and skew the shave, we have a really wonderful surface here. So I don't really intend to have this be a full My Mechanic style restoration where I get everything looking shiny and gorgeous and print new labels and get rid of all the rust and completely redo all of the japanning or the powder coating that they did on these, some kind of enamel. but I am just going to get these working. So the first one I'm going to do is this flat bottom one. Seems like this one was sort of cranked down tight for shipping. The main thing that I'm looking at here is that there's no major rust on the inside. The bottom looks flat despite kind of some of the surface pitting here. And then this cap as well, I might just kind of shine up and get some of this rust off of it. Screw looks great. I don't know if I even have to clean the threads. And then the main thing that I'm really excited about is that this blade has no major rust on the foredge here. There's some grinding scratches that look like they were never taken out, which means that this blade doesn't look like it was used all that much. And the bevel angle is nothing crazy. I'm not seeing a bunch of strange shapes towards the edge here. I'm going to hit the bottom of this with some sandpaper on a block, and then I'm going to shine this up, put it all back together, and do a little bit of filing around here, just because it's a little bit sharp, jagged, all around here, and then I will be completely done with this one. For this Made in England number 63, there's a little bit more pitting on the sole here. And I've actually never used this mechanism before, but I imagine it's all kind of the same. This one is actually fed through the bottom. That's kind of cool. This is captive here. I will not be keeping this sticker. It just doesn't interest me. Underneath here, it's looking nice. This as well is looking pretty good. There's definitely some surface rust here, but because this blade is so small, I'm going to be able to just use the Charlesworth technique and sort out this bevel, and we should be good to go, which is really exciting. Okay, cool. So I'm seeing exactly what I want to see, which is that the blade, when I put it on a flat surface, is making contact at the foredge here. And actually, I can almost see my 400 grit scratch marks are reaching all the way to either corner here. And so I think with just a little bit more work, I'll be able to have some nice organized scratches from side to side, showing me that I've gotten through these really big grind marks here. Okay, I'd say that's good enough to do the Charlesworth technique after. I've gotten rid of most of the kind of surface pitting and stuff, so I'm not even going to go any further than that. This one is maybe a little bit more troublesome. It seems to be pretty warped, but we'll find out when we start grinding it. Look at that rust. Oh, beautiful. Might do just a little bit more on this one. Motivated by how well the little guy went. Yeah, that's great. Okay, we're stopping there. So for my plain blades, which include spokeshaves, I like to prepare my edges doing the Charlesworth third bevel method, where you have a very large primary bevel that never gets polished. You have a secondary bevel that is there to allow you to regrind, and then a third bevel to have a perfect edge. And what I'm going to go do now is I'm going to run off to my bench grinder, get it set to the 25 degrees that I do my primary angle at, and then when I get back, you'll see that the primary bevel angle of all three of these blades is going to be the same at 25 degrees here. Now I hope you can see that I have a very consistent sort of rough scratch pattern here. And this didn't take very long because this is not super hard modern steel. In fact, this could be old enough that there may be a lamination of a piece of hard steel on here. I'm not entirely sure. But now we will go to my stones and I'll put a final edge on these. So this is about the smallest blade I've ever fit in this honing guide, and I thought I would just try it out. I'll typically do these freehand, but just to show you that, you know, these parallel clamping honing guides are kind of nice for short blades, but I mean, I probably only have a centimeter of this blade actually in the honing guide, but this is going to make things real fast. So I have this set to 35 degrees, and I'm just going to hone. So now I have a perfect secondary bevel, and we'll tick up to 37 and go to my 5,000 grit stone to get a final polish. And I like to push down on the edges at the end just to feather things off a touch. Now I'm just going to do the Charlesworth technique to do the final polish on the back bevel here. Okay, now I have a little strip from side to side. My back is perfectly parallel to the blade here, and this one for the flat spoke shave is done. So the very tiny curved spoke shave blade is going to be far too small to do the honing guide with this one, so we'll have to do this one freehand, and it's really not that hard. But first I'm going to polish the back of this one just a little bit so I can get this foredge looking beautiful. And I don't predict this is going to take more than, 30 seconds of even polishing. And I think I'm getting kind of lucky here. I've got a really, really wonderful finish there. And then we will do the Charlesworth technique on the 5,000 when we're done. So this here, I'm going to just reference the primary bevel angle, lift it up just a tiny bit, and I'm just going to do very small circles here, keeping even pressure. And I'm just going to go until I feel a burr. And when I touch, I feel a burr on this side, but none here. So I'm going to continue. And now I have a really nice burr across the whole width. So we'll go to the 5,000. We'll go primary, come up, and come up just a little further. And this won't take long at all. And then I'm going to put uneven pressure across the width to feather down the far corner and feather down the close corner. Fantastic. It's looking beautiful. A little bit more work and I'll be finished. Now I just have a tiny little flat file here with a round side as well, and I'm just gonna quickly break these corners because they're awfully jagged. I just want to make sure that any of the places that are making contact are not rough, and so far the casting is quite rough. I'm gonna just quickly hit a file along the bed here, just in case there's any high spots, build up, nasty old glue left by the last person who used this plane. Although it's all feeling pretty good. Yeah, I knocked off some of the nubs here that were maybe not going to allow the iron to bed properly, but basically have no other worries there. So I'm just going to grab some steel wool and some paste wax and give this a little polish, put the blade back in, and we'll test it. This I think I'm just going to hit with steel wool and wax, just to get the rust off of it. That. Tensioner on. Go like that. And when I get out the plane setting hammer here, I'll just get everything kind of better aligned here. Nice even pressure. And now I just tap adjust until the blade is protruding evenly. And if you go too far with these, it's kind of unfortunate. There's no way to really back it off. So just kind of reset, start again. I got a fresh piece because that was going a touch dull. And I'm just kind of rolling this across its width, trying to keep it even. These can be sort of ridiculously fussy to set up, so I'm not going to try and tap this in any further until I'm on a piece of wood that needs shaping, and we will test it. I'll go wash my hands. Okay, I can already tell that's too deep of a cut, so we're going to reset. Nothing. Tap, tap. Nothing. Tap, tap. Okay. Compared to my Veritas, I think that this has even less vibrations and is just kind of more comfortable to use. See how it hated that? You always want to go uphill. So, Stanley 51, 2 thumbs up. So it's almost as if the cutting surface is too wide, it really starts to struggle. I can see why the Mountaintop Joiner Shop channel calls this the Chatter Machine 5000. I'm really struggling to find a way to take passes that connect without having sort of enormous chatter. And I feel like what that tells me is that this tool, until I become more familiar with it, is going to be a bit challenging to use on internal corners that are sort of wide sections like this instead of narrower ones. So there's going to be a learning curve for sure. Womp womp. So final word. Still love my Veritas spoke shave. The weight is really nice. It feels very stable. The handles are comfortable to use. But after using this number 51 here, there's something about the way that the wings are angled and cocked so that your hand position and the way that your thumbs rest on the face here kind of reference the angle that it intends for you to use it at, even with the thinner blade. If it's really sharp and set very finely, I was getting just incredible feedback peeling that end grain. So I'm really pleased with this tool. The curved bottom spoke shave is another story. I feel like I still really don't understand how to use this thing, which is totally fine. And I'm going to spend some more time with it. I do know that these are temperamental and that people say they're really prone to chatter, and that was just exactly my experience. But maybe they're more for precise work on relatively small internal curves and small sections. So, thanks. Bye.